This episode is sponsored by my signature group coaching program for women in pharma and biotech Beyond the Ceiling. This 4-month coaching and mentorship experience is the only coaching program exclusively for women in pharma and biotech to design your unique career path and build the career skills you need to get a new job, promotion, or upgrade your role. Doors to the program open July 23rd to August 6th. Go to www.yourworthycareer.com/beyond to get all of the details. Welcome to Your Worthy Career, a podcast for women in pharma and biotech with me, Melissa Lawrence. I am a certified career and leadership coach with a master's in organizational psychology who has worked in talent and learning development in biotech to large pharma, from non-clinical to commercial. I help women in pharma and biotech create a career worthy of them. Whether you want to get clear on what you want, get a new job, get promoted, or be effective as a leader at any level, this is the place for you. Every week, you will get practical career strategies and mindset shifts to help you overcome the problems you experience at work so you can reach your goals feeling better than ever. Your up level begins now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. Can you believe that we are at the end of June already? This year has gone by so fast. I cannot believe it. Like, all of our summer vacations are coming up. It's such an exciting time. Now, today we are going to talk about a hot topic that has come up with my clients inside Beyond the Ceiling, and that is the hidden attachment that we can have to our job when you're considering leaving your company that you consider to be large and prestigious and one of the elite. Now, when I worked with AstraZeneca, there was definitely an element of elitism. They have a bit of an insider reputation for hiring overqualified candidates that are the best for their area of expertise. And I remember when I started working there, a senior leader shared with me that when he goes to networking events or conferences, that it feels so good because it's hard to get into AZ and so many people want to work there. That's what he told me, right? So he was kind of like elbowing me, right? Like, oh, it's pretty cool you work here, right? Now listen. When he said this, I was taken aback a bit because, yes, it is competitive, but I didn't do anything special to be hired. I just applied without a referral or connection, online, regular interview, and I got the offer. So, of course, I did things to excel in that interview process, in my resume, my application, but I don't feel I did anything extreme in order to get that job offer. And I've worked with clients that I've helped get job offers there before too. And sometimes they don't take the job because the package isn't as high as they would expect for a large pharma company. So I just was really surprised by this perspective. It's not something that I thought or had a belief of when I started working there. But I will say that they did have amazing benefits and it is a large, well-known company. So if you work at a company like this, you might be considering leaving, but having some hesitancy and pausing and asking yourself, do I really want to give this up, right? And so I'm going to give you just another example. I had a client who had a dream to work at Pfizer. She worked for a small to mid-sized company, and that is kind of the type of company that she had worked at throughout her career. And so she had really put Pfizer on a pedestal. She was convinced that if she worked there, the problems she had with the industry, like impossible deadlines, low headcount and resources, any cultural issues, that there'd be better management training so bosses wouldn't be as bad. And so she eventually got an offer with Pfizer and she jumped at it, only to leave, I think, 1.5 or 2 years later, because she found the issues in industry that were there, those pain points, the ones that she'd experienced in her jobs that she had had in the small to mid-sized biotech companies also existed in the large prestigious company of Pfizer also, because those issues exist everywhere. And this is important to consider. And I'm telling you this because in my experience, the problems that exist in pharma and biotech companies are pretty consistent across the board. Bad managers are everywhere, and so are good ones. Like you can have a great employer with great management and great management training programs and a culture that you enjoy working in with a company that has 10 or a company that has 10,000 or a company that has 100,000 employees. So it doesn't so much matter the prestige or elitism that might come with the reputation of some of the companies or how much revenue that that company makes. It doesn't tell you if you personally are going to enjoy it, if it is going to give you that safety and security and stability that you want. So it's just really something to think about, that those timelines and the feeling like there's never enough people to do the job, or you're not recognized, or the programs aren't good, or your career development options are limited. Those problems can exist everywhere. Now, I work with women in the top 15 revenue generating companies in the industry and also the smallest of biotech companies with 10 people. And yes, there are differences in working for a really small company versus a very large company, but there isn't a universal rule that one has better pay, better benefits, better culture. In fact, I've seen some really good salary packages and increases with promotions at smaller companies as much or more as in larger companies. So this is why I suggest you get really clear on what you want your role to look like, the level you want to be at, the type of the company you want to work with, and build the skills to be successful and effective in any environment. You want to build the skills to communicate effectively with the most difficult people or bad bosses, know how to push back on deadlines and have the work-life balance you want, know how to get a new job or promotion created for you, how to tap into the hidden job market, even when there's layoffs and budget cuts, to be able to influence your leadership to get more resources, more headcount, more cross-functional support, because these are issues that are going to be present in your career no matter where you work. It doesn't matter where you work, you won't experience a culture or a type of company that is free of any problems, right? So we want to get you into a job and work with a company that aligns with what you truly want to be doing in your career, the impact that you want to have, and then build the skills that make it your dream job. And beyond the ceiling, there are women in smaller biotech companies that you may have never heard of. And there are also women who work for Johnson & Johnson, GSK, Takeda, AstraZeneca, and the big names that you have heard of. But I can tell you that their goals are similar. The challenges they face are similar. And I told you the story about the well-intended senior leader I worked with, so you could see that it's totally normal for there to be this air of elitism and to create this feeling that you are working for the best of the best, right? And some companies have this type of behavior or belief behind them that make you second guess and doubt yourself when you're looking to make a job change, or may bias you into moving into those companies thinking it's going to be something different or it's going to solve some root problem, and then it doesn't. So you doubt your decision to find something better because you're worried that people will think of you if you leave this big glamorous company. You worry it might not be worth it. You don't want to give up the prestige. And just because you work for a large or prestigious pharma company doesn't mean that you should settle in your career. Just like moving into a large and prestigious pharma company isn't going to solve all the problems that you've had in your prior companies, right? Because a lot of our experience with work has to deal with our beliefs about ourselves and our skill level to navigate the work environment, to know how to manage promotions, how to get like insider information and develop yourself personally and professionally to be able to get what you want no matter what. And that's not something that you get taught at school or by HR, right? But that contributes so much to your fulfillment and your happiness in your career. So it might feel more safe and secure to work for a large company. Large companies can give you that feeling of safety and security, like they're not going to have layoffs or it's not going to impact you. But those layoffs, they happen everywhere. The problems happen everywhere. You just might not hear a really large percentage of the company say being laid off if the total number of employees is high. But that doesn't mean that full facilities aren't being shut down in large pharma companies. If you look for that information, you'll see it's out there. The company recognition or perks, they just don't matter if every day you go to work and you feel like a part of you is dying, right? When you spend your days frustrated because your fifth meeting of the day could have been an email. You feel like your main role is to do admin work and make sure other people do what they're supposed to do, and you don't have energy to do anything but zone out after work. It's not worth it. Instead, let's focus on taking control of your career and deciding what you want in your role and getting it. Instead of letting loyalty to a company or what people will think about you leaving the company run your career. So this is why inside Beyond the Ceiling, we start by doing your career protocol. This is a 5-part tool that you'll be able to match your current skills and career desires to your perfect job or company for you. You'll have a custom roadmap of exactly what roles, companies, or teams would uplift your strengths, use your talents, and help you feel more fulfilled by your work. It takes all of the guesswork out. You'll learn to interview and advocate for yourself strategically so you know if the company is putting on their best show and prevent you from getting duped, right? Where you're interviewing and then you're worried that you're going to get into the company and it's going to be different than how they presented themselves. We fail-proof that whole process. You don't worry about leaving and regretting your company because the career protocol is going to tell you what companies and jobs are perfect for you. And then you're also going to learn the skills to know how to know in the interview process and when you're talking to people if it truly is the best fit for you. So I show you how you are the only one that creates that safety and security in your job. It's not the company that does that. You get to have the career you want that feels like a luxury add-on to your life and not just a label. Doesn't that sound amazing? Your work energizes you instead of drains you, so you can be present and give attention to what matters most to you outside of work. I know it might feel scary when you've worked at your company for a very long time to consider leaving it, but just think about the impact of not being happy in your career, right? And that's true also if, let's say, you got into one of these large prestigious companies, or you're like my client from before that really wanted to work with Pfizer and then got in and was like, oh yeah, you were right. Like the same problems exist here too. If you've gone in and you're new to working for that company and now you're feeling a little bit bad, like you don't want to leave because you built it up so much, that's okay, right? Like what matters most is how you're living your life day to day. Those small moments, that frustration, that stress that you might have at work, that all compounds and creates the experience that you have with other people, the experience with yourself, your experience with work, the impact that you have, and your overall quality of life. When you aren't using your skills and you're bored and you're having like less of an impact than you want to have or that you could have, when you have that feeling of dread going into work some days, is the elite company title really worth it? Is it worth it to spend most of your life, because we do spend so much of our life at work, feeling drained and not having the energy to even have fun or be present with our families after work? No one person or no company should have this type of negative impact on you. Plus, another thing to consider is, like I said, you can create that feeling of safety and security in any role and with any company. You can also build the skills to always know what to do in your career and be an effective standout leader. The other thing to consider here is deciding to figure out what you want in your next role and pursuing other opportunities does not mean that opportunity won't be at another prestigious company, right? Sometimes we get so extreme in how we think about things, like it's either this big prestigious company or it's a crappy small biotech, right? And that small biotech could be way more prestigious than your big company. Also, your next role could be a different large pharma company. So the first step is to figure out what the next best move is and build the skills to make the career change that you want to have. You're going to make a lot of little decisions every step of the way, from you deciding that you're going to go and see what else is out there and see what your best role is and actually accepting an offer. So don't get overwhelmed with the outcome. We aren't there yet. Right now, all you have to do is decide to let go of the weight that you might be putting on your company to make you feel prestigious and secure, and act with courage to advocate for yourself and design the career experience that you want and deserve, one that is truly worthy of you. All right, cheetahs, I hope this was helpful. Thank you for tuning in this week. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready to advance your career in pharma and biotech, I want to invite you to join Beyond the Ceiling. You'll get 4 months of high-touch coaching that will help you design your unique career path, build your leadership skills, and get your dream job promotion or upgrade to your current role. When you apply for this round by July 25th, you'll get an exclusive bonus, a one-on-one call with me where we'll solve your biggest career problem so you can get unstuck and start making progress right away. Go to www.yourworthycareer.com/beyond to get all of the details.